line. Go, go, go.
What's up, guys? It's your boy G, and we are back for another round of Dominus Gaming's ACC GT3 World Series. I'm joined, as always, by my co-casters Eddie and Angelus. We are jumping into the quali session in just well, we've already jumped into it, to be honest. You can hear the cars roaring away. We'll just jump over to a in-game setup. Let's see if I can just... I just need to jump this back to the normal bits and pieces. Let's just click drive here, get a full screen, make sure this is all working. Okay, that's all done. Okay, we can pull up a broadcasting app. There we go. Okay,
Congrats.
So Eddie, you
got
here?
Your pre-checks done, I see.
Well, everything was working until you switch the camera angles and you go over to the next session. Then you just have to reset pretty much everything on the layout. That hasn't been fixed in this latest update, which is a bit frustrating, but you know, it is what it is. For now, I'm just going to make sure that some of these audio levels are... I'm going to drop down the car audio a little bit. Eddie, can you just say hello to our viewers quickly for me?
Hello to all our viewers. Hope you guys are enjoying your lockdown. If you're not, come sim race with us a bit. Always a fun way to pass the time.
Okay, so Eddie's alive and well. Richard, are you there as well?
He's not here now. He'll be joining us soon.
Okay, Richard will join us soon, which will be great. He's currently attending to some other bits and pieces. We are at Nürburgring for round 9 of the Dominus Gaming Championship. Currently are...
It's not Nürburgring, this is Nürburgring.
Nürburgring, sorry.
Yes.
I did say to you that I might be head all over the place this
True,
week.
true.
I currently am confusing two of my favorite tracks.
It is a bit weird. You're not the first person today to ask if we're racing at Nürburgring.
Well, you know, it's got ring at the end, and it's an easy mistake to make. Definitely not a similar track layout at all, but we were close, and we're at Nürburgring, which is what I was going to say was one of my favorite circuits as well. That Nürburgring, Spa, pretty much all the circuits in ACC really could rack up on favorite circuits lists. Maybe Paul Ricard we can't put on there quite yet, although we are getting a little bit more acclimatized to...
There is a Paul Ricard race on Monday, which might be a welcome break from all this Kyalami action in the last week.
Jeez, you're 100% right. The Kyalami action has been lacking completely, and I don't know if... I don't know if they've taken away split timings in the new ACC overlays.
But
like from the broadcasting perspective.
The latest update has done a few interesting things to the game. Yeah.
Well, that's...
We're
I mean, that's
feeling
that's
our
a
way
bit
through it.
Yeah, that's a bit frustrating. I mean, I would have thought that we would have had that sort of option on there. But
is that off the track? Basson going for a bit of a spin around. Where about on the track is that? Coca-Cola curves, I reckon? Yeah. Waiting nicely for people and rejoins with no incident.
Yeah, so they've changed some of the layouts in the game as well, which is I need to just maybe try and correct on my side if I can. Maybe we just take off some of these bits and pieces for now.
They've added some interesting things though, which you can't see on the broadcast, but if you're driving, you now have your best lap time, your last lap time, and then your predicted lap time, which you can kind of see a live lap time as you're busy screwing up your lap.
That's interesting.
Yeah. There's a couple of other HUD changes that you and I will have to discuss when we're in a race again. That I can see they're not on the broadcast.
No, 100% right. There's some bits and pieces that have changed for us, probably some bits and pieces that have changed for the drivers. I know there's a tire change as well in terms of the physics. A different way. Oof, we have a very upset puppy in lockdown at my house at the moment. So we may be having some interesting interruptions from... I may have to go and sort some things out as well. Eddie may have to take over some bits and pieces. Let me go and see if I can attend to Milo. Shame, man. I'm going to leave Jason up on the top of the screen at the moment.
Let me
Eddie,
just jump over to Jason.
I suppose it's a good time for me to announce that I just arrived.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Hello.
Now that we're stuck on Jason, did you manage to watch the Solidarity race last night?
What bits and pieces of it, hey, where I could, it was very cool.
Jason Absmeyer's drive in particular was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal.
I was out there supporting our founder of the LNR. He also went and had a drive.
By the name of?
It was S Buck.
Ah, okay. No, I think the top four pretty much stole the entire show. Like, the broadcast never went to anyone else. Then it was good. Nail biting stuff.
I hope
Allergy.
that, well, hey, what's up, Rich? Glad that you could have joined us. My puppy may still interrupt us. She's in a very playful mood.
As all puppies should be.
Yeah, I've given her an additional bone to hopefully keep her happy for the meantime, but I can't guarantee anything. So back over to our racing action. 13 minutes left of this quali session, so only just kicked off, did it not?
Oh, we're 7 minutes into quali.
Did it start at 20 minutes? It is 7 minutes in. Okay,
Yeah.
so it did extend to 20 minutes. I'm glad that these... I was running around trying to sort out server configs earlier as well. Just making sure that there were no big updates that they've pushed through there as well.
It's a hard knock life, 4G.
Oh, it really... oh, look at this view coming down the start-finish straight under the M-Power Bridge. That Porsche glistening. I've got some light bloom. I don't know if it's issues. The camera seems to be picking them up quite weirdly. But Jason Absmeyer jumps back to the pits, so 155.143 for Jason. We're going to have to pull up the time table sheets to really show you the gaps here in between, because I don't know why we don't have split timing updates on this.
If I look at current qualifying standing, it's going to be a tough race for the first 5 guys. Bruno Cadiel only with a 156.8 compared to Absmeyer's 155.1. Maybe Cadiel not that comfortable on this track.
Well, can we talk about the fact that Cadiel's also
He's in a Porsche.
Changed up cars, in the Porsche now. So that was something that we can also just mention, is the fact that the drivers here weren't locked into cars properly in terms of the rule set that we had running. So technically, you could really just kind of change your car if you weren't comfortable in it. So next season, things are going to be locked down a little bit better. But it has allowed us to see a little bit of a difference, a little bit of a different change up on the grid, allowing the guys to just drive with something that they're more comfortable with, making it a little bit more friendly, I suppose. Something to look into for the next series indeed. But now we get to see Bruno Cadiel drive a Porsche, which I'm not sad about, and I want to see what colors it's running. Definitely his updated Merc kind of livery themed onto that beautiful 9912 GT3R. Oh, just quite the complementary colors. You like the orange, we know, and I like the blue, the sky blue.
Gents, I just did some math around Bruno Cadiel that you might find very interesting.
Yes.
So, at the moment, let's say Bruno does not finish a single race again, and Jason Absmeyer wins every single race. Bruno would only lose the championship by 3 points. So he actually is taking no risk changing his car. He just needs to score 3 more points and he will be champion.
Well, do love this Porsche though. These colors suit this Porsche. It's like an off golf kind of look.
It is. It's a retro golf.
Yeah,
a
very retro
golf
golf
vibe. A little bit more of a ready orange, but looks good nonetheless. So qualifying continues. Jason Absmy will stay in the pits. We'll run through things as they stand. Victor de Kock, he's done a 155.776, putting him in second place on the grid. Etienne Kleb for Am2 Race, he's done a, what is his best? Oh, sorry, a 156.097. So just a little bit off the pace for Etienne Kleb here from Victor de Kock. And really Jason kind of running away at the top there with his Porsche at the moment. Christos Besson, also another Am2 Race driver, is best with a 156.484. And we've got Sebo Maloto, a surprise driver to a lot of us coming onto the grid. Talking about positioning on the, I think he's within the top 10 now in the championship standings. I briefly had a look at them before the championship run. I think he was sitting in 8th.
Yeah,
So he's well within he's the leading Pro-Am driver at the moment. Sitting
Correct.
in the top 10 amongst, he's ahead of Gray Ritchie, who's a pro driver in the
Also
classification.
correct.
So
yeah,
really,
somebody did their homework.
really good drive from Sebo. I always do my homework, Eddie. I'm a good homework boy. Franco Albertine, 6th place on the grid, 156.835. The Am2 Race boys kind of bunching themselves. Oh no, they're not. It was my timing screen showing Stark Buerta is not back into the lobby yet. So he was here earlier.
I'd like to see if Am2 Race can have as great a race as they had last week.
Oh, it was very, very dominant, and it would be super. Bruno Cadhill, star of the championship at the top, currently sitting in 7th place. So gonna go jumps himself up to 4th place. So he's dialing in his Porsche with every lap that he goes around. 8 minutes still to go and change things up. We got Franco Albertine now. He's going to hold down 7th. Stefan de Vet will pilot the Bentley around for 8th position with a 157.762. Sean Lawrence currently in the pits, but that beautiful Aston Martin livery that I talk about all the time, 158.692, going to secure him 9th on the grid. Corne Strauss, our only and lonely Lamborghini, the Twitch Stallion. Not quite sure how it's going to handle the new tire updates. 158.824, going to get him 10th place on the grid. A little bit of inside info. Corne Strauss did tell us he's going to jump himself up to 9th with that last lap. 158.635 coming out from Strauss. Said that he's quite dominant on this track in other sims. It's one of his favorites. He really does enjoy it. So keen to see if he gets himself faster and faster around as we go. JK
I think Strauss's only problem so far has been a poor car choice for his driving style, I feel.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
and a stubbornness to not change.
well, he chose it because he wanted to be different, and he is different, so that's what he gets for it. JK Menard, the man that we can talk about now for Kai K Racing, 11th on the grid at the moment, 159.364, so some time to be found for him. Also finding himself progressing through the driver ranks, getting himself more and more consistent, finding some finishes. Struggling to finish seems to be the only reason he hasn't found himself some more points on the board, when he does seem to be going around great pace during the races. Favorite Mozambican, Thiago Paulo, 12th at the moment with a 159.376, also a lonely Nissan. Used to have Victor de Kock in a fellow Nissan, but Victor switching over to the Audi and finding himself up in second at the moment in quali here. So enjoying the Audi. It seems no Hendrix, that beautiful satin red Ferrari with the blacked out roof. Very, very bold and iconic Ferrari looking livery as he goes around with a 159.823 as his best. Going to be setting a new hot lap now. 13th currently, possibly would like to find himself a little bit higher. Did perform quite well last week and would like to, continue with a good run. Vanna Jobert, another
car change.
A car change. He's out of the Mercedes.
AMG it was. Yeah.
It surprises me because I was told that's the only car that works on his amazing simulator rigs. When I visited the studio, I was told that only the Mercedes is chosen to go around there. So he's obviously changed things up, but he's allowed to change his livery too. And he's gone for those TGN Racing Simulator colors, the orange and black, very bold, very dashing. And some interesting news coming out with an announcement of the TGN Endurance Series. Going to stay posted, stay tuned to the Dominus Discord for more information. I see that it was opened up today. A little teaser, really. No information given to us, so nothing yet to yell out to everybody. But help me, Mr. Vanager currently in 14th, jumping down to our last competitor for this evening, Vivian Richards in 15th. He's done a 2:05. Vivian, just a dedicated sim racer. He's here night after night. He laps around, he has fun, and I just love Vivian's...
I love racing against him. He's a good guy to chase around.
I mean, what's sort of maybe misleading to viewers is, you know, where Vivian gets placed onto the grid or where he finds himself lapping around, and people may think, he's, at the back. But, he's stacked up against some pretty good drivers. Not saying everybody's a great driver, but these are talented drivers. When us as commentators jump into this, it's a completely different story. We don't get to compete with the top elites. It's really everybody driving that gets to get highlighted here as someone that is competitive. Jason Asmar is out on the track at the moment. He's currently 3/10 up on his lap time. So I just want to stay for a little onboard with the WRG Porsche. Currently holding down pole position. Currently 4/10 up on his lap time as he comes up to the Schumacher S's. And a very difficult part of the track to master. But once you get it, just so fast, so flowy, before you come back down, drop the anchors just briefly and carry as much momentum through the left-hander. And again, it's just balancing that throttle control, making sure that you maintain as much speed and don't lose too much traction on the back end. Any sort of sliding really does cost you time in ACC. It is not lenient, and it's not what you want to happen to you. So Jason Asmar currently up by 5/10 on his half a second, make that 6/10 as he comes around the final corner now. He was kind of saving something special for last. Hopefully we get that beautiful view down the start-finish straight again, as we're currently in sort of sunrise session, and Jason Asmar across the line with a 1:54.372.
Cool. That is well clear of anyone else.
That's 1.4 seconds clear of anybody else.
I think after his solidarity race last night, he's aching for a win.
Yeah.
I have to agree.
He wants to also start somewhere fairly. In the solidarity race, he had to start from behind, make his way through the order. So,
I missed. Why did he have to start from behind?
So what happened in his heat race was he lost force feedback in his wheel. He was leading against Essa and had to pull out. So after losing the heat race, he then had to go into the
finals
wild
out
card?
of the pit.
No, he had to go into the wild card. Then he had to win the wild card. After winning the wild card, had to start at the back for the 15-minute sprint race. There he ended 12th, which started him 12th for the main event, and from 12th to 4th.
What a fighter, eh?
That's insane.
What a fighter.
That's insane. So currently, like you said, he wants to find a victory. He seems to have the pace if it's coming down to raw qualifying at the moment. I mean, Victor de Kock looked like he was right on Jason's tail previously, and that's kind of forced...
Cadhill is up on his own time. Sorry to
just about
barge
to
in
say,
there.
Cadhill could be on a quick one.
Yeah, 6/10 up, 7/10 up. He's looking to find himself a second, and he's only got the last sector to navigate now.
He might still get in another lap if he's lucky.
I think he
there's
will.
50 seconds left of quali, yeah.
He's got 50 seconds on the clock, so I think he will get across the line. The race, of course, starting in the morning, 8 o'clock. Looks like the clouds for quali are not going to give us rain for the end of quali. The race, though, it's an hour long. It's a little bit different, and anything can happen there. So let's see where Bruno comes out. 7/10 up on his time at the moment. Bruno Cadhill, 7/10 up. He's going to cross the line, take second place with a 1:55.5. So he's going to snatch that away from Victor. But Victor is also 2/10 up on his lap time. So let's see what Victor's got to throw back. There's 12 seconds left of quali I don't think Victor's going to get another lap in. He's just started.
He's on his final.
He's on his final lap. Bruno will be on his final lap as well. So Victor and Bruno both on their final laps. Etienne Kleb, Franco Albertin. Has Victor binned it? Oh yeah,
he has
thrown
binned
it away. So Bruno doesn't actually have to do anything here. He can just continue to go around and around. It looks like people that are still out. Thiago Paulo, he's 2/10 up, 1/10 up.
He's finished with his lap. The only person still running is Bruno.
Okay, so it's only Bruno that currently can do anything, and he needs to do something if he wants to snatch out that pole position. But maybe not a bad thing. Starting in second here at Nürburgring, of course, that T1 corner is something to be aware of.
It's braking on a downhill into a sharp right-hander.
Downhill
with
off
a pack
camber.
of 15 people piling up behind you. Only a good fun time.
I mean, Kado has to find 1.3 seconds to take away pole position. He's not up on his lap time. I don't think he's going to do that here.
Clean sweep for Jason. Like purple sectors all the way around for a pole position lap. He clearly understands the track very well.
No, he seems to have found something special in that Porsche, that's for sure. What a blistering lap. Bruno going to come through the final chicane for the final time. And he will be our last driver to finish out on track, which will then probably send us over to our race. Of course, the race this evening, an hour long if you missed that.
Plus our mandatory pit stop.
Mandatory pit stop, tire change required. So refueling is allowed. You can do what you want with your fuel. You can start high or end low. Doesn't matter what you want to do with that. Jason Absmeyer will start in pole position. Bruno Cadhill second. Victor de Kock third. Etienne Kleb fourth. Franco Albertin in fourth. Franco Albertin in fifth. Christos Besson in sixth. Sebo Malotto seventh. Stefan de Vet takes down 8th position. Noah Hendricks in 9th. Corne Strauss 10th. Sean Lawrence in 11th. J.K. Menard 12th. Thiago Paulo 13th. Vanna Jobert 14th. And Vivian Richards 15th. So we get a little cinematic flyby from the back of the grid. Let me take off the HUD as we drive on by. The cars that are up in the air, it's not a glitch. They're currently up on the hydraulic jacks or pneumatic jacks. Not quite sure what we're going there. Pneumatic? Hydraulic.
Hydraulic, I think.
Pneumatic. I don't know. Pneumatic sounds right.
They'd be pneumatic because it's air.
Yeah.
Okay. Hydraulic would be a liquid.
Correct.
True,
I think we solved it. I mean, we do engineering on the stream. We here to entertain.
We do a lot of corner names.
Starting here at 8 o'clock in the morning. So a morning race. It's only 24 degrees ambient track temperature. Currently actually at 23 degrees. It is cloudy, so there is a potential that we may see some weather. Currently clear. We do have dynamic racing conditions coming up. So for now, our cars line up and they tweak their setups. They finalize their fuel loads. They change and ensure that they've got the right tire pressures set up, and they drop down and prepare their cars for what will be an hour-long race. I hear some cars starting to start up at the front, which means that we've got 30 seconds left to go.
Guys should be readying up now, and 7 seconds until the session starts.
And we get a full drive-by. We'll see Jason leading things away up at the front. Why does this...
just jump to a cockpit or external view first.
Yeah.
And then back to your broadcast. There we go.
There you go.
So happy that there's now a all Porsche fight at the front for the Dominus League.
We don't have to worry about voting for a Mercedes now.
We don't have to apologize for people's cars anymore.
No, we don't.
Fantastic.
It's beautiful Porsches up at the front.
Yeah.
Bruno and Jason.
This is an hour of
Porsches.
listening to Porsches, and I love Porsches, but this is my next hour.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you over the foghorn of your Boatley.
I also couldn't hear you over the foghorn of your desertion of the Porsche's Drivers Club. So Victor de Kock will be the first of the other cars in the race, an Audi for third position. So possibly a podium position spot up for grabs for Victor de Kock if he keeps things clean. He will
He's
have
got those amateur race
fight.
boys right behind him.
This is what I was just going to touch on, Eddie. He's going to have the fights of Etienne Kleb and Franco Albertine at Bayern. And of course, last week looking oh so dominant at Spa. So coming over to Nürburgring, we know that they are going to be bringing the fire. They've got Christos Besson. It's a little 1, 2, 3 for the amateur race boys. Then just behind them, they've got Sebo Meloto, the first of the KK Racing, and again the next Porsche up for grabs. That beautiful Nicki Minaj flavored, Smarty infused delight. The purple,
if you
blue,
can't win
and
on the track,
light
win
green.
on the runway.
No, for sure. You know, just strut it, doll. We've then got Stefan de Vet for SS Motorsports in his Bentley. Again, the only Bentley that we see currently in the league. And Stefan de Vet for SS Motorsports going to see what he can do there. Noah Hendricks, that's Saturn Ferrari. He's going to take a place back from Corne Strauss, it would seem. Otherwise, Strauss is going to get kicked.
They did swap around there.
Did they? Okay. I'm not
Gosh.
sure are they qualified.
Oops,
So
yeah.
if someone does get disqualified, it is how the race has declared where they've started. So then we've got that other Nicki Minaj Porsche, JK Minaj, will be separated from his teammates by a couple of other cars. We're going to wait to work through to find a solid performance here. Diego Paulo will start from 13th ahead of Vanna Jobert, who I feel like he's still got to dial in the Audi. So he's still got some things to do. He's into the Audi. It's a new car to learn. Quite a beast as well compared to the Mercedes. And at the back of the grid, we've got Vivian Richards. He's going to just see that he can take some positions of drivers that make mistakes in front of him. That's where he capitalizes best, and if he can, he will. So Jason Absmeyer will lead us around 2 by 2. They go Ozark style down the start-finish straight as they align themselves for the start here at Nürburgring. It's round 9 for the Dominus Gaming ACC GT3 World Series, and we've got a green light, an early green start. It's going to be a dive towards the back of the pack. Bruno getting a great start, but will be on the outside. Jason up the inside. They will go side by side. Jason will have that inside line. Looking towards the back of the grid, I need you guys to see what happens side by side. Cadiel and Absmeyer will go inside line now for Cadiel. It will force Jason to have to go quite wide down the run. They still continue the run down side by side. These two, look at this beautiful bit of driving at the start from the front two. I haven't been able to jump back because we've just seen some absolutely superb bits of driving, but Jason Absmeyer will secure that whole shot start. Bruno Cadiel in second place. Victor de Kock in third. He's going to be hassling on the back of Cadiel there. Etienne Kleb, he's going to stall down into... Where do we see some big changes up? Do we see anything big?
There was some crashing and spinning at the back, yeah. My screen hasn't updated yet, but I know Corne Strauss was involved, De Vet was involved, JK Minor was involved, and they all dropped behind Mr. Muster, our Mozambican.
Yeah, so Muster has, he's capitalized big. I mean, he started at the back of the grid, so that's the biggest winner. Up into 9th place in that Nissan GTR. He's got a Corne Strauss and Lamborghini right on his tail, but for now, it looks like Diego Paulo going to be a big winner at the start of that. And I wonder if anyone here is going to have to pit for damage. We've also seen Vivian Richards. He's also made himself up some positions. He's got himself up to 12th there. So
yeah, it wasn't big contact, but it looked like one of the amateur race boys had a bit of inside contact with De Vet in the Boatley, which then just dominoed a bunch of guys to go spinning around. Luckily at the slowest part of the corner, so no... I don't suspect any serious damage.
No, it was all minor bing bong stuff, like a little bit of paint got swapped, but nothing else too serious.
So, I mean, the battle to kind of look out for at the moment will probably be Etienne Kleb onto the back of Victor de Kock. He's going to have that slipstream advantage as well. Both of them matched quite closely for pace, it seems. At the moment, they're going to go through the left-hander with Etienne a couple of cars lengths behind, trying to close down the gap. He's got his teammates behind him. Besson and Albertine have actually switched up positions. So I'm not sure if it was a strategic move there to just let his teammate through, or Besson had made a move. But it will be Besson in 5th, Albertine in 6th. And no Hendricks, he's also just having a great race there. He's into 7th place. Tsepo Maloto not quite on the back of him to hassle him into any kind of mistakes just yet. And of course, that could change up, but they're going to make the run down once again. Diego Paulo continues. He's still got, is this Jabez?
Yeah, no, like the
Jabez
and Jabez. Oh, nice move there.
I'm not sure if it was too late there, but it looked like quite an open door being left out by Diego Paulo.
No, there was definitely an open door. Let me jump back and just have a look.
I'm also going to jump back here and see if I can get a chase camera. Yeah, so Vanna, we're going to go on to a onboard rear-facing camera here. Let's go on to Helicam, actually. He's going to come down. Oh, he did leave the door quite open, but Vanna did understeer quite badly into Tiago there. Luckily, Tiago getting away. Vanna not feeling like he needed to give the position back.
No, not something I would penalize. Tiago looked like he braked a little bit early. Vanna took opportunity of a very wide open door. And a bit of paint rubbing, but
yeah, they survive. They survive, and Vanna finds himself a top 10. So also a big jump up from that earlier contact that was in the race. And the next victim that Diego Paulo will now have to sort of defend against will be that of Stefan de Vet in the Bentley. And again, just letting drivers through. I don't think Diego Paulo feels too confident to battle against some guys at the moment. He feels like he's out of position. He knows that he made up some places, and he doesn't want to, feel too much pressure of drivers ahead of him. So I think it's not unwise to let someone through that you feel is going to have more pace than you if you don't feel confident enough to defend. Jason Absma and Cadhill up at the front. The Delta has changed up. We see things go within 2 tenths. Cadhill has closed down onto the back of Absma. I'm not sure if we saw a mistake being made, but we don't see Victor de Kock on the back of Bruno here. So
Victor de Kock's got a handful of Kleb bothering him.
He does.
There's two more Amp Race guys literally a second behind. Oh, Victor de Kock just had a big off.
Let's
you
go
jump
and see
10
if
seconds,
we can
you'll see it.
Go ahead and catch it. So he's going to go through the Schumacher S. He's taken a lot of curb, and he's just got too much. Yeah, he's slid it off. And Victor de Kock under pressure throws it down, and Etienne Kleb will slide on by into 3rd place. So that's going to change up the order.
Joins the track in 13th.
Bruno making a move. Ooh, getting squeezed just a touch. Both drivers lovely through there, though. That was very, very nicely held by both drivers.
So let's see if we can get a little replay. We see Bruno pull out. They go side by side. Bruno trying to go on the outside there. Beautiful a little bit. Like you said, Richard, these two have really been pushing the limits of driving skill. We've seen it in other races as well, and always great to see such a skill level here.
Bruno seems to have learned this track somewhere between the end of qualifying and the beginning of the race.
I think
it's a different driver right now.
I think there's been a lot of pressure to try and learn and get dialed in for Kailami coming up. It's a big race with some easy prize money on the line, especially the Solidarity race, and then the 6 hour coming up as well. And guys maybe not being able to throw as much practice time in, but these dedicated sim aliens, they just need, in-game race time to even learn and evolve. It's not like us plebeians who need the practice session to do something. You can see Cadhill started off the pace in terms of qualifying. Right now, has found himself tucked back into the back of Absmeyer's slipstream. And of course, going to be bothering Absmeyer in the mirrors for what feels like the entire duration of this race now, if they can continue with this pace and this pressure lap after lap.
Further down, if you want to jump to Mr. Minnar, he's found himself a face full of Tiago.
Oh, Diego, he is now, we talked about maybe finding someone that he wanted to have a battle with. It wasn't going to be Stefan de Vet, but right now, the KKR racing
Actually, I think
Porsche.
Minna might have just gotten past Diego, and now Diego's got the cock coming up right behind him.
You could be right. You could be right. You could be 100% right. And of course, the cock out of place. That was that one off from 3rd down to 13th. Angela's mentioned it, but this is just kind of the impact. He's trapped up now behind a GTR, and he's got a Porsche to work past next. That's all just to get himself up to fighting for top 10 with the Mercedes.
Diego making that. Oh no, he's let him through.
No, Diego, I'm telling you, Diego's just not wanting to get in the way of things at the moment. He doesn't feel 100% confidence, and right now, just letting through the drivers that, and he just doesn't have the, doesn't seem to have the turn in either, going quite deep and understeery through that penultimate corner.
Who else has got a problem brewing for himself is Mr. Strauss. He's got a rather large Boatley catching up to him, hand over fist.
Yeah, so that will be Stefan de Vet. He's going to be closing down onto Strauss here.
I'll keep an eye for us on the 2 leaders and shout if anything jumps there.
Yeah, they're all over each other though. It's literally just a breath away.
Yeah, Strauss has his hands full with the debate behind him.
Yeah, you just see how close he gets and dials him in. Oh, he's going to try and defend. He's touched the dirt there. That's going to maybe compromise the exit. De Vet doesn't like the way that Cornet braked into that corner. Feels like he gave himself a worse run out. But back to the onboard with De Vet. We can switch to a helicam as they make their way up to the Schumacher S's. One of my favorite parts of the track. We saw Wyatt absolutely destroyed out on Victor's possibility of the podium at the start.
Maybe the most difficult part of the track to consistently
round the outside,
get right.
Does the vet try on the outside? Cornet trying to defend as hard as he can on the inside. That will force that Bentley to try and find a way around that it's possibly not used to going. Strauss
Further
doing
down,
the right thing in holding
the cock
off.
has managed to get past Menard and is now bothering Hubert.
Okay, let's go and see that quickly. Beautiful little side by side. Looks like Menard also trying to capitalize on some of that action as well. You got Lawrence also trying to tuck in there. And what you find is the drivers in front losing out positions often lose out more than just one. And here we see Jobert lose that one to Victor. Will he lose some more here to Menard? Menard onto the grass. He's touched the back of Menard. Luckily, the cars do not unstabilize one another. And Menard a little bit shaken and stirred there. Gonna come off a little bit.
Lawrence jumped through 2 positions there.
Yeah.
He managed to take Menard and Jubert into T1.
This is what I said. You got to be careful of that driver that comes from behind and slingshots his way through. And what a drive down. He's also going to be following along. And Johannes Skraling, thank you so much for your sub. We appreciate it. You get to trigger off the dubstep music in the stream as well. So thank you for the subscription. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Of course, Dominus Gaming here bringing you the action of round 9 for the ACC GT3 World Series. Currently looking at Sean Lawrence as he has Minim, also known as Vanna Jabert, on his tail. He's then got that Kaike Racing Porsche. I just love these on-screen cameras as you just see the cars whizzing by and we see a couple of cars in shots of one another, everybody pushing to their limits. And of course, Thiago Paulo, he's kind of let everybody through from his early start. Now just going to be lapping and trying to find himself some balance. I wish that
his lines have been good following the other guys, so he's managed to keep up with them. But, I almost feel like he's faster following people than he is trying to lead.
jumping just back up to our leader, it's going to be Jason just holding off Cadhill. Still, Cadhill now doesn't quite have that gap we saw earlier on. So right now, Absmeyer leads, Bruno Cadhill second, Etienne Kleb in third. It's just a train of amateur race cars. Kleb, Besson, Albertine for third, fourth, and fifth. Then we got No Hendricks into
This
sixth.
is
What
our
a great
closest
drive.
fight at the moment.
Yeah, what a
No
drive.
Hendricks and Malotto.
What a drive from Hendricks in that Ferrari. And now going to have a rear end of Porsche to deal with. Tebo Malotto, one of those surprise wildcard drivers that has been putting in the time and the effort and continuing to improve on his racing. And it really does show doing phenomenal things.
Courtney had a
Massive
big
impact.
off.
Yeah, there's a knife fight brewing there, and that knife
Jump
fight
back
caught up
30,
to...
you'll see it.
Yeah,
I went back 10 and I missed it. And I see he's been kind of hit a couple of times there.
yeah, that didn't go well for him. He came off very short on whatever happened to him there.
I'm busy watching the replay, so I'll tell you guys what it was. Yeah, he just lost at mid-corner, then collected De Kock, then Minim, and almost took Minar with him.
Yeah. That swapped things up massively. There was a big fight brewing there, and now they're completely different spots.
I feel sorry for poor Strauss. Like, this
He's had some
Lamborghini
tough
just
luck.
hasn't been nice to him.
No.
Distant Road, thank you for your follow as well. We appreciate you. So not good luck for Corne Strauss. He's found himself now down in 14th place behind Thiago Paulo. So big changes coming up the order. And that little battle that was brewing on track, not really where we wanted to see it. Bruno Cadhill is 3/10 up on his previous lap time. He's found some time through the first sector. And once again, going to get himself tucked up towards the back of Absmeyer's Porsche. For now, Absmeyer will still lead away.
Gee, if you could, please jump to the battle between Sean Lawrence and JK Minnar at the moment. These two have had a nice little drag race down the main straight.
Yeah,
Not too deep into...
Minnar on the outside there's kind of overcommitted himself and going to hand that away to the Aston Martin. Won't be able to have access to the inside line. Didn't have it dialed in quite enough. Let's see if he can find some time back through the S's here and see if he can redial back into the back of Lawrence. I think Lawrence overall seems to have a little bit more pace in that Aston. We saw him sort of get a jump on the start, and then I'm not quite sure why he found himself falling back again. I see, Noah Hendricks and Tebo Malotto, they are back and close to one another. Robert Harbo with the host on the stream. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. To everybody in the chat, I don't have chats open, so if you are there, I do appreciate you. I go back and read all your comments, so thank you very much for that. Kleb and Besson, the two teammates for Amateur Race, they've also got their delta times closing back in. Looks like Albertine struggling to hold on to the back of his two teammates. That Aston Martin and that Audi almost running away at the moment. And Besson looks like he is closing in on Kleb. So we know that Besson is a quick driver. It'll be interesting to see what these guys do, because that's a fight for the third place on the podium. Of course, pride on the line. Cadhill really is fast through this first sector. He really does seem to be finding more and more time. He's another 10th up on his lap time going through there.
I can tell you, Strauss just left the pits after all that damage he got, but that'll also take his mandatory pit stop out of the way, I believe.
It should do. I mean, we don't have that indicator on this.
I actually have it on my side, so I can tell you that yes, his mandatory has been counted.
Do you just have the normal drive pit stop menu on your end?
I've got what you would usually see when you're
Basic
driving
HUD.
the basic HUD.
I don't know how to get that one on my side.
I've got. Let me just see if I.
Because it would be nice to be able to see who's pitted.
If I just bring up basic HUD, that's the. I can see that who's pitted and who hasn't.
Yeah, likewise.
So the update has done wonders for us tonight.
Yeah, it's made the broadcasting mode just that little bit extra complicated.
It's apparently screwed up a bunch of people's car setups.
Oh, really?
I had a fun time trying to sort out my car for the 6 hour on Sunday.
Oh, so it's just the MFD that you have to toggle back in if you
There
want
we
that
go.
for your basic HUD. So we can change that up.
As for on track, sure, Lawrence just had an off somewhere. I think it's at the Senna S's he misjudged himself. You see, I think I jumped back a little bit too far. I'll let you know when I get to the incident.
Kleb and Besson, they continue to close it in. Albertine, again, also seems to be quick through the first sector, catches back up to his teammates. And I do like that little amateur race 1, 2, 3. It does look quite beautiful on the screen. Victor de Kock, he's showing a Delta time to Stefan de Vet, but it looks like it's going to be a bugged out Delta time, as there's about 6 car lengths ahead of where Victor de Kock will be hassled by that Bentley.
Victor de Kock has had a lot of troubles in this race, but I'm glad to see he's fought his way all the way back up to 8th already. Includes being spun out, taking himself out, and
So priority with the sub, thank you very much for that. Thanks for also triggering our dubstep as we get to look at this little on-screen battle again. These are 3 teammates, let me remind you, the 3 closest cars on track, in fact, other than Absmeyer and Cadhill, when they do get themselves dialed back into each other. Christos Besson is the sandwiched in Audi. He's got the Aston Martin behind him, and in front of him he's got the Aston Martin of Kleb. So right now he is that sandwiched lonely Audi, but these guys running together, working together, using each other's slip as well. I mean, you got to consider this. They'll be able to run with each other's slip. If they're driving together and not trying to make up positions, they can really work to make up time to perhaps try and close down that gap to Bruno Cadhill, who of course he continues to chase down Absmeyer. The 2 Porsches up front, nothing better for us at Nürburgring as Porsche fans, nothing worse for Richard as a betrayed Porsche fan, I suppose, seeing such domination.
I'm never going to hear the end of this. I've gone from a dirty Bentley driver, which was just, I think, quite extreme, to I'll take the, what was it, the foghorn of my betrayal. That's getting tweeted later.
Foghorn of your betrayal. Actually, currently at least, there is a Bentley in the top 10, which isn't where we often see the Bentleys. So Stefan de Vet doing great work there. I don't have bad things to say about your abandoning ship, Richard. It's just that...
Yeah, your actions speak for themselves.
Correct. There's no real words that would sum up the hurt. As someone
would it be
Porsche.
better if I then just came back and started driving the Porsche again? Must I return to the fold? Google gobble one of us.
You will still have a little black mark against your name as a non-true lover. You've been forced there by Eddie, but I would like it. I mean, we'd like it more. We'd also take away some of our content in the stream, so maybe you should stay with the Boatley. You also might find that the Porsche, because it is the more dominant car, actually makes you better, and then you're more competitive against us, and then it's not good for us because then it's harder to beat you. So staying in the worst car is probably better.
Yeah, we can only beat him if he actually joins the lobbies.
That's also true. Yeah. To win the race,
raising a small human takes a lot.
So I've been told.
It is unbelievable.
We were going to get to that point. Kleb still holds off Besson. Look at this little train. I mean, if you were going to film a promo video for your racing team, this would be the clip that you wanted to submit. As once again, Besson is getting closer and closer to Kleb. I keep saying this, and he's trying to. I don't know if he's trying to break slip or these guys are racing each other. I don't even know if they're working together for things, but going in for the slingshots.
I wonder if there's any amped to team orders, because Kleb is the leading driver at AMP in this league, and Albertine is second, if you will. So I'm wondering if Basson is just trying to show the team where he belongs, or if later maybe Albertine would tell Basson to move over.
Well, Albertine is maybe not even having to move over. He's feeling the pressure from his teammate Albertine behind, but doing a good job to keep the pressure on Kleb in front of him. So on track, we see Meloto and Victor de Kock now going in for a little fighty fight, and this is Victor de Kock making his way up, and we're going to pull in just in time for Victor to try and find an inside line. Meloto needs to play defensive. We need to talk about this. Victor de Kock will look for opportunities to pass, and Meloto needs to force him to go on the hardest ways around that track. So let's follow a little bit on the helicam, give us a little bit more information. And we're very wide from Meloto. They made contact, and that will be very aggressive coming in. And Victor going to wait.
Very much a Victor de Kock late move there.
For sure, he is going to wait and give the position back there. So Victor understands that he'll come in a little bit hot and heavy. Making contact with Meloto there. So Meloto going to scoot on by and continue down.
He's
hopefully
also
not picking up too much damage on the cars.
He's gained the Veta position as well. He managed to just sneak past as the two of them were pirouetting across the grass.
Rene Strauss, though, still plugging away. He might be quite far behind. He's determined to finish. He's had a really rotten little bit of luck in this series. So I think it's just he just wants to get one finished, you know.
He's also the only guy that's actually pitted so far, so he's got that feather in his cap. Everybody else still has to go pit, so he's very much out of position at the moment.
Yeah.
What are we looking at here? Minar.
Yeah, so Minar and Lawrence.
Fantastic looking Porsche.
Yeah, Minar and Lawrence going to be once again on the screen. It will be the Battle of the Blues. That's metallic blue Aston Martin for Lawrence, looking quite dashing with the splash of black on it. I quite like the contrast, and of course I think we can talk about the saturation on that Porsche in front. So both cars looking quite dashing with the livery applications, and it will be for Menard to defend against Lawrence probably in the next lap or two. Looks like Lawrence closing back
Just
down
up the road
gap.
from them, de Kock has caught up to Meloto again.
So
Maybe
let's see what
second
these
verse same as the
two-
first, we hope not.
Yeah, let's see what these two are going to do. I mean, Meloto did get Panturino'd by Victor previously on the attack. Let's see if, maybe not going to give the opportunity for that to happen again. Going to keep defending the inside line. It's what he needs to do. So we were going to talk about when their incident really happened earlier. We just see that the driving line gets compromised a little bit, having to defend the entire time, not able to carry speed. And very good run coming out from Victor. He's going to try on the outside here. You'll see Tsebo going to park the car inside and going to try and force Victor to go on the outside, which will give Victor the inside line for the drive here. And I think Victor's got that done.
Yeah, nicely done.
Tsebo didn't get the drive out of the corner, and a nice little move being done there by Victor de Kock. We'll get to go and recap that with a helicam view so you can see where it really happens. They come through the S's. The drive is great from de Kock. You see him pull alongside. Tsebo does try to hold that inside line, doesn't really get the drive out of the corner, and looks like he's squiggled with a little bit of traction on the exits and just not able to hold off. So good little bit of driving coming out from Victor de Kock around the outside.
Ooh, sorry to interrupt. There's been a little bit of contact between Cadil and Absmeyer. Bruno did, though, give back the slight advantage. You'll see it's on the next hairpin here. There's just a little bit of a bump between these two as the fight intensifies.
Oh, yes, I see it. So, Cadil trying to get right up behind for that exit. A little bit of touching does give the position back, and they continue to drive on around, and they've just lapped past Vivian Richards. So, I mean, you can't even see the next car on track as they battle around together.
Absmeyer into the pits.
I don't know if he's going in for damage. You're gonna have to look for.
I know he's trying to undercut. I'm sure, trying to
32
catch
minutes,
Bruno
yeah.
by surprise.
Just watch for how long that pit stop takes. So Cadiel will take over the race lead for the momentum. He will have that pressure of needing to go into the pits, of course, into the next couple of laps. Etienne Kleb will stay out. Hassan will stay out. Albertine will stay out. Menard, he's up on his previous lap time. Almost by half a second. You see, he's also finding some distance between himself and Lawrence, who previously was getting quite close to them. Kleb, Basson, and Albertine are really just continuing to scrap things out.
It's not good for any of them. They're using up tires. They're slowing themselves down. I tell you that Jason had a 32-second stationary pit stop. So
It's
well
100%.
within.
It's 100% why the gap here is
Stefan de Vet
so
in the pit.
big.
Yeah,
It's almost
these
45
Amp2
seconds.
race guys are screwing
What?
themselves over by fighting each other over third place. When if they worked together, they could have maybe been scrapping for second and first.
It's almost 30
I
seconds
foresee
up the road, Cadiel from Kleb. So, like you said, Basson now looking to try and find a way past. Doesn't have the way around and using up tires.
He's now also opened the door for Albertine to get him coming towards the, what is this straight called? Oh, that's a big German word. That's Becht Bogen. Gatzenbecht. Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave you to handle that one, Eddie. I'm not throwing in no lifeline to save you.
Oh.
Yeah, you're on your own with that one.
Excuse me, as Bruno is in the pits. I just want to get an idea of how his pit stop is going to compare to Absmeyer's. The Absmeyer's initial stop was 32 seconds. It's all about where Absmeyer is on track now and how big a gap he can close up before Bruno starts moving again.
Bruce Monroe, thank you for your sub. A cheeky fellow MNR racer. Thank you for the subscription. Really do appreciate it. I've got a phone call coming in from the United States. I think I'll return this just now.
We are halfway through. Keep it up.
Not quite sure who this will be for. So it will be
Jason
Jason Absmeyer coming out just ahead of Bruno there. You see
Bruno
him-
also lost about 2 seconds in his pit stop to Jason. Bruno's stop was about 34 seconds. So that undercut bought Jason 2 seconds of free airtime. Just
And a
before the
back
pits,
marker.
they were on top of each other.
Yeah, that's true. So it will be the Am2 Race boys still racing up ahead for that first, second, and third spot. Obviously, we're going to go into the pit still. I'm interested to see really how it plays out. That mention of what you've said, the battle between them, costing them a lot, is just it was something that I didn't quite factor in. I should have factored it in, and yeah, as teammates, I thought maybe working together with some draft would help out, but losing out big time in terms of the gap delta to that third place, or what would be third place after the pit stops have all corrected themselves. We can't see their pit stops there. We can see them here. So obviously, Kleb, Basson, Albertine, and Hendricks yet to pit. Absmeyer, he currently holds down 5th place with being that pit stop in. There's that Bruno Cadiel Silverback Racing Porsche in the background. So like you said, probably the biggest gap we've actually seen between these two cars since the race started, Eddie.
Well, I'd be interested to see. Ooh, Sean Lawrence might split the amp. Oh no, he's stayed out the way. I'd be interested to see when the amp guys decide to start pitting. Like, do they all jump in at once? Are they going to try undercut each other? At the moment, still Basson all over the back of Kleb.
Yeah, I mean, it's also something that you've got to consider risk-wise for 3 teammates to be up and
Knife
all
fight.
over each other like this. One little mistake, and that's 2 cars or 3 cars that could come out of the race. Basson is flashing his lights at Kleb here. I feel like he wants to get past. He wants to make something happen, but you know, it's just not.
Clearly, he feels faster.
He does feel fast. He's going to go side by side now next to Kleb. He's going to try around the outside. Kleb saying, I'm going to defend my inside line. But around the outside, Basson goes. The drive from Kleb is there. They will touch again for the second time out of the apex. But Kleb will come out ahead and secures that spot ahead of his teammates in that Audi, who really is fighting for position. These guys are not working on team orders. The lights are on. Basson wants the move done. He's going to now try go around the outside. He's not. Look at Albertine. He's closed back in. And Lawrence. Is that Lawrence?
I think he's a lap
Lawrence?
down. Though.
Okay, he's a lap down. Okay, so they're lap down. I thought maybe he had closed in somehow. Joined
Basson
into
with
the
a
fray.
great drive.
Oh, Basson is hasty. He's trying to find a way past. But we know that Kleb, the man, the defender, he can make that car as wide as possible. He might have made a mistake giving an inside line there, but no, he's actually thrown it out wide and given himself a little bit more breathing space. Yeah, so Kleb, he's not having any of that hassle from his teammates. He says, nope, you carry on, mates. And it will be Albertine and Basson from Amateur Race to take over first and second place. Of course, temporarily still got to go into the pits. It'll be interesting to see where Kleb comes out behind Bruno. Of course, those fights would have cost them on their catch-up. So they were about 30 seconds before Absmeyer went into the pits, and then Bruno pitted a lap later. So when they come out, I'll be interested to see who's who in the zoo and where third place will be now. I feel like those battles really, really have cost them.
So now, if you're Basson, do you stay out longer and see if you can get a bit of a better lap time now that you don't have Kleb in front of you, or do you realize you might have killed your tires fighting with him for so many laps, and he's currently out there on fresh tires, also setting blistering times? I feel like Kleb did the right thing by trying to undercut Basson, even though he was ahead of Basson.
Kleb was losing time trying to defend against Basson.
Yeah.
So Basson kind of has to stay out at this point. I think going into the pits would make no sense. He was being held up by traffic, and if he goes back in, he's going to throw himself back in behind traffic. So he needs to stay out. He needs to try and see if the clean air does help him. And you see, he does extend a little bit of space between Albertine, who was right behind him when he was tucked in behind Kleb before the pit stop happened. So Basson will stay out. How many laps is the question. I feel like it needs to be more than 1 or 2 based on really what was committed to there. I mean, he could have gone into the pits earlier if he wanted to try something new. He's going to be flashing lights to backmarker Vivian Richards here, who can't really get out the way just yet before, and Vivian Richards will go into the pits. Basson stays out again. So yes, staying out, extending the stint, doing what he needs to do. Where is Cadiel in relative position to Jason Absmeyer? So Cadiel now
almost 2 second gap.
So 2 seconds behind. Jason coming up to Noor Hendricks for position, but Noor Hendricks going into the pits. So Jason Absmeyer will take over third place again, and they'll continue to lap on round. Currently, you see our race leaders on 18 laps.
Basson having big slide coming through the section, a very, very slow section here. Sorry, I'm very, very bad with the German names on the circuit, so I'm going to not try and butcher them as well here, G. But that cost him big time. He lost almost half a second there, which is going to just hurt him going through the rest of the section. He's scrubbed a ton of speed.
Yeah, and there really is a big new update to the tires slipping and road effect of driving your tires off to the end of grip. So not quite sure how that will affect things. We still need to have a couple more lobbies and races to see what changes are made and how many hours it would take or minutes to get to those stages. But Basson really does still seem to have that little bit of extra pace on Albertine. Even if he does get somewhat oversteery on the exit sometimes, that rear engine or mid-engined Audi, not the easiest car to drive on the limits. I feel like it's kind of, it does want to kick out the back. A lot of people seem to feel it's a very basic car to drive. I think it varies from track to track, but definitely not on my easy list of cars to get around. Basson now slow through the third sector and will be going into the pits, followed by his teammates. I don't feel like Basson really got too much done after Kleb got through with his pit stop. So Kleb, he's done his pit stop. He's going to be... I mean, we can't even see him on the timing sheet to where he is relative to Bruno. He's got Minar, who still has to pit in front of him, who currently is in 5th place.
It bothers me that Kleb's indicator says he hasn't pitted, but we saw him pit.
I mean, I feel like he didn't do a mandatory stop then. Richard, will you go back and look at Kleb's pit stop?
Sure.
Because it feels like he hasn't done something then. He had to change tires. That was the requirement. So he hasn't done that. Cadiol, he doesn't really seem to care about the benefits that Absmeyer may have got from the pit stops. He is right back on the back of Absmeyer, and they are chasing down one another again. They've taken back their first and second places as the rest of the field in front has now done the pit stops that they need to do. Kleb could be a big loser here, falling quite far down the order, having to go back in. Cadiol wants to go on the outside, wants to come back in as well, trying to change up that line and get the drive out of the corner. You do have that option as the follow car to really get yourself into a better drive-out position if you've got a car defending in front, and 2 Porsches fighting it out. What a beautiful view at Nürburgring. It's just gone 9:30 in the morning. Track temperature now up to 25 degrees. Weather prediction still looks clear. No chance of rain.
I don't know if I'm happy that there's no rain or a little bit disappointed.
Well, I think it's better for the drivers because they don't seem to love the rain. I think for the viewers it sucks. We wanted rain. Very wide from Cadiol on the exit after the chicane. He plays a little bit of grass. Surferino does manage to keep the car pointing in the right direction, but will lose a couple of car lengths to the back of Absmeyer as they go across the line for the start of their 20th lap. And with 20 minutes to go, anything could still happen. We've seen most of our pit stops take place. Kleb, he's back into the pits, it looks like.
Well, 23 seconds from that pit stop.
His pit stop is now taken, but he's pulled over to the side. I think
he's retired.
He might be retired himself. He had something go wrong in the pit stops.
How long did it take?
No, he's pulled off again.
Seconds.
He has pulled off again. But he's come out in 12th position. So well down from where he was running. Clearly he had some engineering issues.
He's having lots of trouble here.
Let's just talk about this battle up at the front still. I mean, these 2 drivers seem to give us a show wherever they seem to feature. And yeah, we've got something that we haven't got in a little while, like an actual on-track battle. 20 minutes left of the race. Either we see a driver getting well ahead. Vivian Richards now going to be in the way of this battle. Gets out the way beautifully, does Vivian, does not interfere. And that's all we want to see from back markers getting blue flagged as the Porsches continue to scrap it out. Cadiol loving the slipstream effect from the back of Jason. Jason has no way to shake him. He needs to commit to a line, and that's what's making things so difficult. So he's going to go for the inside again, forcing Cadiol to go quite wide around the outside. Cadiol zooms over that curbing, somehow manages to control things again, and tucks back in to his sort of, what do we call this, the fetal position behind Jason, just kind of where you feel safe and invulnerable from the cold weather conditions.
I have it on some good authority that when Kleb pulled into the pits the first time,
his just got a drive through as well.
Yeah, Kleb's team wasn't ready with his tires, it seems. Let's see what Minar. We just jump back here. Speeding in the pit lane.
Oh, it's Bruno. He's having a little look-see through the Mercedes complex. And now, again, not quite getting able to get the move done. Helicam is probably going to be the best way for us to view this horror movie. It's the stalking of Cadiel on Absmeyer. And it's taking place at a very, very sunny set condition. So not where you would normally expect to find a knife fight taking place. Cadiel in that bright blue Porsche. Of course, he's got Absmeyer in that light grey and black Porsche in front of him. And really two drivers that have continued to push the boundaries of sim racing. Really, really great pace. I mean, the last lap from both of them, 155.6 from Absmeyer, 155.3 from Cadiel. Their best laps have been 154.9s and 154.3. So 154.3 coming out from Cadiel. So currently, he's got 6/10 on Jason when it comes to fastest lap time in the race.
The further
Once
down,
again-
Albertine has gotten past Basson for 3rd place.
Gonna try force him around again. Jason defensive. His exit compromised. I think that the run from Bruno also not going to be as good. These two will continue to fight it out. And what a battle we have.
Bruno's got a
up at the front.
slipstream now down this long start-finish straight.
Yeah, Jason needs to place his car down for the defense, and he will do so. Bruno once again forced to go around the outside. He doesn't have what beautiful side-by-side driving. Jason puts the car in the right place, and Cadiel now through the Mercedes complex again, going to be forced back wide and not quite in a position to have a look-see through the little chicane. Really, really great driving coming out from both these drivers. I mean, this is close and on the limit all the way to the maximum.
And then even while they're fighting, they're pulling away from other people, which is... it's ridiculous.
Yeah, Richard, an update on JK Minar's drive-through?
Yeah, he's cleared it now. Race control just came through with him having cleared it.
But what was it? Did he speed?
Yes, was speeding.
Okay, speeding in the pit lane. So
Yeah, got a bit excited with the offing of the pit limiter towards the end of the pit straight.
We've lost Vanna Hubert, sadly. He seems to have retired himself out of the race.
So as things stand in the order, it will be two Porsches up front, followed by Franco Albertine in his Aston Martin in 3rd. His teammates Basson in that Audi for Am2 Racing 4th. Noah Hendricks for SRC Racing in the Ferrari will hold down 5th position. Sable Malotto, good drive from him. 6th place for Kaike in the Porsche. Sean Lawrence, 7th place in the Aston Martin for SS Motorsports. JK Minar just clearing a drive-through penalty, knocking himself down to 8th place. The other driver for KKR, Thiago Paulo, our favorite Mozambican. What a drive coming out from him. I mean, he's made his way up after letting a whole bunch of drivers through. He's done his pit stop, right? Or has he still got to do it?
Sorry, who's this for?
Thiago, he's done it. So Thiago's done his pit stop. He's done well to get himself into 9th. Stefan De Vet for SS Motorsport, the Bentley, in 10th. Corne Strauss, a bit of an issue earlier on, has also made his way back through. Well done, 11th behind, well, in front of Victor, who seems to just have been plagued in his switch over to the Audi.
Unlucky driver
Kleb,
for the day.
Yeah, unlucky driver for the day, Kleb, who balked up his pit stop and had to go in and do another one. He's now down in 13th place, just ahead of Vivian Richards in 14th. And an excluded Vanager Bay in 15th place. Off screen has been disconnected from the race. Cadiel and Absmeyer, I keep getting notifications that these two are eating up or that they are setting off the fire alarm. Cadiel does not know how to get past Absmeyer. Absmeyer is almost at that limit being pushed by Cadiel here. I mean, if he manages to drive through here and not make a mistake, he can really survive anywhere. Cadiel has put pressure on from the get-go, and really great driving coming out from both of them. And I really do love watching Bruno try and find new ways around Absmeyer. He keeps having to change his line, and all through doing so has not compromised his position to be in the fight for the lead. We said that we needed Bruno Cadiel to lose every single race, like not even be here, not pick up a single point, with Jason winning every one for Cadiel to actually lose this championship by a couple of points. So right now, Cadiel doing what he needs to do to win those championship points, not where Jason will want him to be. And down the start-finish straight they go. Early commitment from Jason for the inside line. The slip is there from Bruno. Does he manage to get round this time? Round the outside they go again from Bruno. He tries to make it stick, but he's forced again too wide. That inside line just works so well. The runaway from Jason Absmeyer is there to then hold off before the chicane. And a good bit of driving. Just mentioned once again, both drivers doing things the right way and putting on a show for the viewers as well as us, the commentators.
I'll tell you that Kleb is unfortunately back in the pits again. I'm not sure what went wrong. Maybe he had an off and damaged his car, but this has now dropped him to plumb last.
That's a bit of a pity. So
well, Lawrence is going to do well to get out the way here. They're going side by side, too deep coming through in the first section of the Schumacher S's.
Fighting, and now they're going to make their way back up through. Jason really is struggling with the back of that Porsche all over him. He's going to be sweating. He's going to be feeling the heat. Look how close Bruno is. He's going to be trying on the outside here. Jason going to go very deep. He's gone very, very deep. That might have been the mistake that Bruno needed, but they've both made that mistake. And that has allowed Jason to hold on to things. It does not get quiet. It does not cool down here in the commentary booth at the Nürburgring for round 9 of the Dominus Gaming GT3 World Series. If you guys want to go and sign up to do some stuff and things, please head over to dominusgaming.com or, of course, the Dominus Gaming Discord. We've also got Spandex Cobra here, the co-founder of, or the founder, my bad, of the Monday Night Racing lobbies, which is there for amateurs and rookies to get involved with some drivers of some pretty good standards. I mean, most of the drivers that you see here compete in those lobbies, plus a whole bunch of other communities come through for the Monday Night Racing. It's really fun. It's not community based in terms of these people can't drive here, these people, everybody's welcome. If you've got a wheel, you've got a pedals, you even got a controller. If you want to come through and drive with some actual drivers, go and check out Monday Night Racing. Kazoo will have all the links. They've got a Discord channel as well. And of course,
we'll help you set up your rig and your field of view and give you all the advice you need to get you racing sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and I mean, it's quite stimulating. You get to race against the likes of myself, Eddie and Richard, which means that you really have a chance to win every race that you enter, as Cadiel continues to just hassle away onto Absmeyer. If you guys want to follow my commentators, my co-commentators, Richard and Eddie, you can go follow Spandex Cobra if you want to follow Eddie on the Twitterverse, and of course Angelus ZA. That will be for Richard at Dominus Gaming SA if you want to follow Dominus, and at ZA_GMax if you want to follow what I do. I post as much as I can online, some memes, some things, some laughs, some arguably questionable posts as well. So it's really an adventure if you come onto the Twitter side of things. Talking about adventures, Richard, do you want to talk about this night fight that we've got on track at the moment, or do I need to jump down to what's happening between Strauss and De Kock?
No, can I be honest with you? This whole time, and I don't know if anyone out there remembers this, the Muttley and Dastardly show, the Catch the Pigeon song. That's all I can think in my head right now, because it's the only thing that is running very wide. This might be what he needs. Or closes that door. No, it looks like this is going to be what Bruno making the move. This is going to be what he needs. Having a much better exit there. Jason Absmeyer is just going to have to slot in and do what he can from that slip. But what a change-up.
Yeah, I just wanted to recap on that that sort of exit. They did kind of slam doors into each other, but it was a bit of an exit on the curb. And Absmeyer now going to have to find a way back past Bruno. Cadiel, of course, changing things up. Jason looking very, very aggressive at the moment. Oh, he's got to hold on to it. Something does not look okay with that Porsche. He seems to have held on to something, but something seems to have gone wrong at the moment.
Might have run out of tires.
Yeah, he could have run out of tires.
He pitted almost on the half-hour mark, so I can't think that he could have killed his tyres in 20 minutes. But
No,
he's
it
got
could- I mean, he,
arguably 5 laps left to try and do something about Bruno.
he had obviously those force feedback issues in the solidarity race. The way that he's losing time to Cadiel here,
Could be
something
that.
has gone wrong. Something has gone wrong. You saw
He's
the way the car
3
was
seconds
snapping.
off his best time at the moment.
I feel like he may have lost force feedback. He's now trying to adjust to racing with completely no fuel in the wheel. Gonna have to look at how he goes through some of the faster corners, because this is where you're gonna have to go with fuel. Something has not gone right there,
In
unfortunately.
the chat, we've got last night's winner, Ulti, telling us that he thinks Jason has killed his tyres.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's been 0 track temperature change since before and after the pit stops. So
But
could he have?
it's been relatively cold. I mean, it's
Yeah.
only just gone 25 degrees.
But
Track temperature 28
Bruno was
degrees.
forcing him off the clean line so often. Maybe
For
his
sure,
tyres
sure.
just eventually packed up so full of marbles. He's now, well, he's caught up to Bruno. Bruno's not running away. Maybe just a lapse of concentration with 4 laps left to go. If we're lucky, 5.
A big change up and a big move coming out from Cadiel there, getting the move done onto Absma on the lap before, securing himself a nice bit of padding as well to run things down the line, and of course putting himself into the pound seats, putting himself into that position to have to defend when he needs to, when Absma does try and mount the attack again. But right now it doesn't look to be under pressure. That's going to allow us a little bit of time to jump back down through the order. It was a knife fight battle between the two. We just switched away when the change happened. I mean, that's just bound to happen when I'm on a commentary. But Jason Absma will have second for now. Franke Albertsen third. Christos Besson fourth. Noor Hendricks fifth. Stark Buerta, it's Sebo Melotor in sixth place. Seventh, Sean Lawrence. J.K. Menard in eighth. Ninth for Thiago Paulo. 10th, Stefan De Vet. Victor de Kock in 11th place. Corne Strauss in 12th. Vivian Richards in 13th. And Etienne Kleb retired into the pits, but currently in 14th place. So the order has changed up somewhat. We've seen a change in race leader. Cadiel in a new car as well. The Porsche. You see Jason in shot, but he is well off the pace at the moment. And I am not sure. It could be tires. We do have
We've got
that insight coming out from LT, so it could be stuff like that.
Potentially fuel saving. I don't know if this is fuel saving 3 seconds off again. Could he have underfueled?
You can see how much fuel he has, can't we, if we go to his onboard in the game. So I think if we go...
Let me jump to there and have a look-see.
Yeah, and we say drive.
I cannot see his fuel. I can tell you that he is on engine map. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong person at the same time.
You can't see the fuel levels, you're right.
I can tell you he's on engine map 4, which is a fuel-saving map in the Porsche. Otherwise, he would have been running 6 or 8. So he has clearly spent too much fuel defending.
Yeah, he's fuel saving. He's short shifting the Porsche as well. 100%. It's a fuel save here, boys.
Well, thank you, Ulti, for yet a little bit more wisdom.
This is what you get for racing hard. Is you underestimate how much fuel you're gonna need extra.
Well, look how beautiful the graphics detailing is of all the dirt kicked up onto the side of the cars and the front of the cars. It has been there before, but it does look quite spectacular at this point of time. Cadiel may have found himself in those pound seats sooner rather than later. He does not seem to need to save fuel. Fuel map 8 and revving the absolute bejeebers out of that Porsche motor, making it whine like we like to hear. Franke Albertsen, I don't know how far down the line he's got. Quite a few seconds to catch up to.
But he's got
the likes
Basson
of
right
Absma.
behind him.
He does. And Basson, we've seen him the last couple of laps with Kleb. he was definitely not respecting his teammates' self-isolation space, getting right up in his grill. And now going to be doing the same possibly to Albertine in that Aston Martin in front. So it will be Basson in the Audi chasing down Albertine in that Aston Martin.
We see Corne.
Yeah.
Apologies. We see Corne Strauss in the pits again. Not sure if this is him retiring or if he is making another stop due to something. But
I think it might be another stop. He's still holding on to his steering wheel.
Yeah.
Somebody I'd like to bring up is Mr. Tiago.
Might have messed up his fuel there. Yeah, we can talk about Tiago into the top 10.
He's got the vet right behind him. But we've got maybe 2 more laps left. I'm sure we can squeeze 2 more laps in the 2-minute time.
This lap plus probably the last lap will be the last 2 that we see. I mean, Jason Absma wants it to be this last lap, I'm sure. He is just dropping down time to Cadiel. Of course, he's got some padding to Albertine. But another lap to do on a full fuel save sort of scenario.
Like I say, I suspect we're going to squeeze 2 more laps. Well, the one that they're on now and 1 full more lap. So hopefully they can survive all the way through.
Yeah.
And that would also mean that Tiago's got pretty much 1 lap of defending. But the vet's managed to get past him. He's got the cock behind him now. And this is for a 10th place finish. Could be top 10.
We saw him jumping out of the way earlier. I don't know if it's going to stay the same way after getting to this point. Oh, he's made a big mistake on the exit. This is not a place that you want to do it. Up for the Schumacher Aces. The run is going to be there for Victor de Kock. And Diego Paulo, he's run wide. He's taken a lot of dirt there. And Victor de Kock, he needs to find a way past. He's not quite sure where he's going to go. Our leader's gone to the final lap. But for now, it's the battle for 9th and 10th. That seems most important. Paulo, our favorite Mozambican, who started towards the back of the grid, made up some positions, handed them back after not wanting to put his races at risk. Now, maybe finding a top 10. He's gone wide onto the rumbles, but you can do so there. And he's just putting this Nissan GTR in the right places to make sure that Victor doesn't get a little look-see on the inside. There will be 1 more lap for him to do before this race is called, timeout. There will be 1 more lap to defend. Up front, Cadiel, our race leader, will get time to jump on.
Just making his way onto the final straight.
We'll get some time to get some drone camera going. A new car for Bruno Cadiel to do some drone footage of. This beautiful Porsche. And of course, a great drive coming out from Bruno Cadiel here. He hung on to the back of Absmeyer for what felt like an eternity. They had an interesting pit strategy. We saw Absmeyer going in early, gaining some time back. But Cadiel seemed to come back and find some real pace towards the end of this race. And I saw someone saying last night in the Solidarity race to watch Bruno towards the end sections of the race duration. And that's where he seems to pick up some speed and some power. So great drive coming out from Bruno. He'll go through the chicane for a final time before rounding the final corner here. Bruno Cadiel, our championship leader, will take another race victory here at Nürburgring. So Jason Absmeyer will come across the line for second. Franco Albertine, he's got Basson on his back end here, but so far holding down third. Basson wants the podium place. He is continuing to fight it out, and they're going to go across the line almost side by side. It feels like if Basson can get something done there.
Before I heard that silly cartoon music, now I hear, I'm pretty sure he can hear the Jaws music behind him.
He can. He's not quite in the place to do anything about it, though. And Albertine, with a clean head, he was behind both Kleb and Basson, remember. will now go around the line. Is that Thiago Paulo limping across the line?
He
run out
lost
of
it in the last chicane, unfortunately.
So it will be Albertine for third for Amp to race, then Basson for Amp to race. Noor Hendricks will take home 5th place if all goes well for him. So he is coming around to finish off his final 31st lap. That's how many laps these guys have done in their hour here.
I just saw a message flash there. Jason had severe rear tire issues, and his force feedback also started acting up.
So Noah Hendricks will be that 5th place for SRC Racing. Great drive coming out in the Ferrari. Then we've got Sebo Malotho, another top 10 finish coming out from Malotho. We'll take home 6th for Kaike Racing in his Porsche. Sean Lawrence will finish in 7th, Manon 8th, De Vet in 9th, Victor de Kock 10th, Thiago Paulo 11th, 12th for Vivian Richards, 13th for Strauss, and 14th for Etienne Kleb. So guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to allow our drivers and everybody that is going through for the medal state stuff to jump off and do what they need to do. Thank you so much for joining us. If we've got anybody here for a driver's interview, please make sure that you join the driver's interview channel. I'd love to interview someone that may not need to jump out. So if you do want to get interviewed, just come jump into the interview section. I'm not sure if we can get maybe Albertine in here. I mean, he had a great drive, finishing 3rd.
Let me try get see who I can drag across for us.
Oh, it's a great drive and a super end to the 9th round here for the Dominus Gaming ACC GT3 World Series. We'll be back next week as well, just to kind of remind you guys, we'll be back next week. We head over to the Laguna, the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in the States. The race will be at sunset, so expect something quite beautiful. Race conditions have been set. The forecast says clear. So hopefully a good, clean race coming out for Laguna Seca next week. Wednesday, same time, same place as usual. Not quite the early stream that we had today. So massive thank you for allowing us to change things around. Of course, there was some changes that took place. So doesn't look like we've got anybody in here for the brief.
No, unfortunately, I think everyone's jumped. Everyone's jumped across to Metal State.
They've got the Metal State practice race. Are you going across there as well, AD?
I am, yes. I'm not the first driver in my team. Okay, so my other driver is already up there doing it for us.
Okay, so you guys are heading across, and we'll see you guys next week. And of course, if you guys want to tune in to some more racing action, I'll be commentating over at RLM again on Saturday. It's the Suzuka 12 hours. A 12-hour race, 52 drivers, insanely stacked lobbies over on the YouTube
should be
channel.
So good.
Or it actually should be on their Twitch channel. Yeah, those guys are going to be incredible. So that will kick off on Saturday. I'll update times because I'm not quite sure what time it starts our time. And then Sunday, we've got the Middle States Race Face collab. They're doing a 6-hour at Kailami. I was meant to be driving, but I am now not driving. So potentially going to be able to bring some racing updates. I might drag Richard in where he can join me, and we can do some updates from where things stand. It's 6 hours. Might not be doing the whole thing, but we'll definitely catch up, join the lobby, and see where things stand. So if you guys haven't subscribed to the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel, if you do that, you'll be up to date with what's happening. And of course, if you haven't joined the RLM side, go and subscribe to their YouTube channel. Their race will be taking place on Saturday. The event is already live. So if you want to go and wait for like 3 days or 4 days, you can go and wait and watch their stream. So we'll see you guys next week. Eddie, Richard,
user joined.
Ladies, for joining here. I will be back next week. Thanks, guys.